back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am your host, Sutton Def, and you are listening to Sutton Reactions, episode number 8. So, welcome back if you are a returning listener. If this is your first time listening to the show, again, welcome. My name is Sutton Def, and here we react to pretty much any and everything that comes to the forefront of my attention. Obviously, you can see down below, you can actually send topics to me, and I'll react to them live on the show. And that's going to be at Sutton Def on my either Twitter or Instagram. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the channel as well, whether you're watching on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, which is kind of simulcasting right now on that YouTube channel, then also my regular standard Sudden Reactions YouTube channel. And if you're watching on PRP, maybe consider coming over to the Sudden Reactions channel and subscribing there too, because eventually this show will be exclusively on that channel only. Prod by Urban Closers in the live chat early here. What's going on, Prod? Appreciate you for pulling up. Top of the morning to you. If you are watching live right now, make sure you sound off in the chat box so I can know that you're here. If you're part of the hashtag replay gang, appreciate you guys as well. Make sure, again, you leave a like on this video and subscribe if you are new. So let me see. Hope all is well. Yes, sir. All is well, sir. All is well. Appreciate that. And likewise. So let's start with this little recap of the weekend. So as a lot of you guys know, this past weekend was my birthday weekend. It was a really good birthday, other than the fact that I got a little bit sick like halfway through the day. But bounced back later on, watched some football, so that was cool. Ate a nice dinner my lady made for me. That was nice. And I went into Sunday just thinking like, okay, the only thing that I need to cap off this birthday weekend is a Ravens W. And of course, as a lot of you guys who are watching know, the Ravens could not bring home the W on Sunday Night Football against the Patriots, and they lose in devastating and embarrassing fashion, 28-24. That was really disheartening to watch, especially considering, all season long, the Ravens have been kind of dealing with these struggles, and it kind of seemed like it all came to a head, at the wrong time against the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. I mean, I was distraught. I was distraught. I didn't know what to do. Eli, what's going on? I see you. And I appreciate the happy belated birthday message, Prod. But yeah, so I mean that was terrible. Now the Ravens sit at what, maybe a 2% chance to make the playoffs. Now, I mean, just really quick, kind of going through that. This Ravens team, they need the Cleveland Browns to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is on the table. The Steelers are, they're known for a rough performance against the Browns at least once a year, kind of like the Ravens, and especially with no DK Metcalf in this one to bail Aaron Rodgers out. Not that I think that he's the only reason, because DK Metcalf hasn't really done too much himself this year. They've just been finding ways to win games down the stretch. I think it's really the turnovers that they force. But there is going to be no DK Metcalf, so that does kind of swing the pendulum towards the Browns and subsequently the Ravens' way. If the Browns can squeak out a victory, all of a sudden the Ravens are right back in control of their own destiny, and it's right back to win and you're in. So the season is not completely lost yet, but we're at the point where we are literally out of control of our own destiny, which is never where you want to be. Never where you want to be. But here we are, right? So outside of that, what else happened over the weekend? You had the Anthony Joshua beating up on Jake Paul. I called that Anthony Joshua would win the fight. I mean, that's no real surprise to really anyone. Did I enjoy the fight thoroughly? Not really. There was the spectacle moment of Jake getting knocked out. I heard he broke his jaw in 2 different places, so that sucks. But overall, it was just kind of what I expected. I expected Jake to get off one decent to big shot, like just bite down on the mouthpiece and really throw a heavy one at Anthony Joshua to try to hurt him at least, or at least stumble him. But he just couldn't get anything off, man. He was too afraid of the power. He was just on his bike the entire time. I mean, I said this in the prediction episode. He was just running around, and then when he finally got tired, and that's what he said after the fight, he was like, man, I just got tired in there. And it's like, once he started to slow down a little bit, he couldn't really run as much. Anthony Joshua just pushed up on him, put his lights out, and that was it. Nico Kage's in the live chat. What's going on, Zeke? Shout out to you. Again, shout out to all of our live chat watchers here. Shout out to all of our replay gang members as well. Hope you guys are having a great day. Um, so yeah, that was the Anthony Joshua fight. Tyron Woodley also fought Anderson Silva. I thought that that was a pretty, well, I can't really say entertaining fight because I watched maybe the first 30 seconds of it and I was like, oh, okay, this is going to go, exactly how I thought it was going to go. It's just going to be a snooze fest for however many rounds they're going to go for. And then Anderson Silva, like, I mean, I hear out, I hear from across the room, I think I was doing something else at the time, the crowd get hype, the announcers get hype, and I watch and I see what happened. And Anderson Silva just knocked him out, like hit him with a very clean step in uppercut that I'm sure Woodley did not see coming, but Silva's that was kind of like vintage Silva, like awkward movements, like entry in the ways that you don't expect it, striking wise, and he put Tyron Woodley out, man. And Tyron Woodley at this point, I'm sure he's made a good chunk of change off of boxing, off of his short boxing career after he was done in the UFC. But it's probably time to hang it up, man. It's probably time to hang it up. I don't know how much Dude Wipes is paying Tyron Woodley to wear his to wear their branding on his shorts, but I hope it's a pretty penny that he can kind of just go ahead and retire and ride off into the sunset because he's just looking bad, getting knocked out by any and everybody who steps up to the plate to fight him. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anderson Silva still got it. Yeah, man. I think Silva's probably going to keep going too. He said something about wanting to become a cop in Beverly Hills. So, I mean, like, I guess, sure. I don't know if that means he's just done with fighting. I mean, he should be. He's 50. So, but yeah, if he wants to go be a cop, then more power to him. I can only imagine being pulled over and it's literally Anderson Silva walking up to your car asking for your license and registration. That would be surreal. Surreal to say the least. To say the absolute least. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into some topics here. What do you have on the docket? Couple of things to get into. Let's see. Let me go here. So I want to start with this. I want to start with this whole Nicki Minaj thing. Nicki Minaj, of course, as you guys know, famous singer-songwriter, rapper. She's been around for a long time in the game, at the top of the game, at the top of female rap. And nowadays, it kind of seems like her career is taking a little bit of a turn. And especially with what she's doing now, like she's kind of aligning herself, and that's what this video is going to be about. She's aligning herself with Republicans and the right, and I don't typically do a whole lot of politics on this show, but I just find it interesting that Nicki Minaj is kind of alienating basically her whole fan base, right? Because I would assume a lot of her fan base are left-leaning folk, right? Now, of course, she still has like the barbs and whatnot who will always be, cool with her. And like that, she'll have that cult following, but kind of aligning with the right is interesting here. And she had something interesting to say when Erica Kirk, who was actually Charlie Kirk's wife, the late Charlie Kirk, and they're at this Turning Point USA America Fest, and Turning Point USA was Charlie Kirk's company that I guess his wife is running now, or she's at the face of it or whatever. So they were having a rally of sorts, and Nicki Minaj showed up, and Erica Kirk was interviewing Nicki Minaj on stage, and this is what was said.
Again, Charlie would always say, it really does not take skill to be courageous. It takes a choice. It takes a decision. And I want to say again, thank you for coming and being courageous and being able to share your heart with us. And the reason why that also holds true sentiment-wise is because I know that you are getting a lot of backlash from your own industry. What is your reaction to that?
I didn't notice.
Amen. I feel the same.
Really quick, do you notice how like Erica literally like lobbed her an opportunity there to like ruin her career? Because it puts Nicki in like such a trick bag. Like you're sitting here in front of all these people who wants you to they want you to say one thing, right? They want you to say, oh well, basically what she says here, F them. I don't hear them. I don't even, their opinions don't matter. And like Ashley said in the chat, a lot of her fans are LGBTQ. A lot of her fans sit on the left side of the aisle. So kind of alienating them by saying right here, again, Erica Kirk basically setting her up for career suicide. Let's keep listening.
Same way. When people are like, what do you think about them? I'm like, I don't think about them.
Bingo. We don't even think about them.
We don't have time to. We're too busy building, right?
Yeah, we're the cool kids.
Okay.
Holy cringe. We're the cool kids? I mean, like, she's got to understand, right? Nicki Minaj has got to understand that this doesn't make her anything but a feather in the cap of MAGA heads worldwide, right? And if you're a MAGA head listening to this, I think you would agree. They don't care about you, Nicki Minaj. They don't give a damn about you. All they want you to do is get on that stage and prove that somebody who was seemingly on the other side is actually aligning with them. It's literally just like a dunk on moment for the left, right? That's all it is. And she's being used for that, paraded around and used for that here. It's actually kind of crazy.
The other people, they're the ones who are still just disgruntled, but really they're just disgruntled with themselves. They are angry with themselves, you guys. So you can't wake up and think about somebody who is determined to just stay mad. I literally tell them, stay mad.
Amen.
Stay mad. Because we're going to stay joyful.
Yep.
And peaceful and iconic and smart.
Yes.
And we're going to stay thinkers. In a world that doesn't want us to think, we will think. By ourselves, on our own, we will continue to think.
We will continue to think. Like how she tried to spin it into like, we're going to take the higher road. We're going to be the bigger people. That's actually pretty funny. That is actually pretty damn funny. I can't lie to you. This is, you can't make this up. But I do think that this is the beginning of the end. I think the writing has already been on the wall a little bit for Nicki Minaj, because when you think about, female rap, she's really not at the forefront of it anymore. She's like of course, at this point, I guess you could say transitioning into being more of a legacy act, so maybe this is her trying to transition to a different phase of her career where she picks up an entire new fan base. I don't know. I have no clue. But I think that the writing is on the wall, and you could very well soon see, album sales. Whenever she drops her next album, you can see the album sales tanking. I could see, her shows, the tickets at her shows not being bought up, and that going viral of empty Nicki Minaj shows. Before you know it, she's performing at super small venues and whatnot. And before you know it, we have a documentary on the downfall of Nicki Minaj. And this will be a staple in that documentary. That clip that we just watched right there. Because again, it doesn't make any business sense, right? To align yourself with this, because this is really not going to do you any good. These people at this rally are not going to be rushing to buy the next Nicki Minaj album when it drops. Okay? These people are looking out for the likes of Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, folks like that. That's who they're looking for. And I dare you to drop an album within a 3-month radius of any of those type of artists in that stratosphere. And then see if they align with you the way you're aligning with them here. Again, I don't bring up the politics too much on the show, and I'm not really getting into it too much here either, but it's just funny to me that Nicki Minaj decided to go that way. Very interesting she decided to go that way, man. Let me see. Don says Drake and Lil Wayne are MAGA too. I haven't heard about that. I will say that they kind of sometimes they align themselves. They hang out with folks like Drake hangs out with the Aiden Ross kid, who was clearly like MAGA down, especially during election time. I remember that. But yeah, just a little bit of a little warm up there, a little appetizer there. Nicki Minaj, you're being a clown. You're being a clown right now. And I used to like Nicki Minaj's music, back in like high school and stuff like that. When she was first coming out, she was dope. She was dope. I know she was kind of revolutionary. A lot of people thought she reminded them of the likes of like Lil Kim and then other rappers that came before her, other female rappers. So it's just sad to sometimes see like some of the biggest stars of one point have such a fall from grace, right? And seemingly for no reason, because again, this is just career suicide. Career suicide. Again, welcome into Sutton Reactions. If this is your first time watching the show, again, my name is Sutton Def. Here we react to pretty much any and everything at the forefront of my attention and your attention. That's right. You can send topics into Sutton Def at Twitter, or on Twitter or Instagram. Again, at Sutton Def. I'd appreciate that. I'd appreciate it. All right, let's move on here. What else do we got? What else do we got? Let's get into some of these foul athletes. Let's get into some of these foul athletes, man. Specifically NBA players. What is up with NBA players? NBA players are some of the most vile, filthy, disgusting people on the planet. And I'm kind of like halfway joking when I say this. I don't mean it quite literally. Like, I'm not like turning up my nose at these guys, but it's just interesting how they live their lives. Their lifestyles I feel like are way different from, let's say, in comparison, NFL players. And maybe it's just because the money is a lot different. NFL is a much more popular sport, but basketball players on average get paid more, a lot more. There's a lot more money to go around when there's only 12 guys on their roster as opposed to 54. So I just feel like they just live a different lifestyle. I mean, and they kind of preface this. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo said in an interview that he's seen guys, who play on NBA teams, who travel city to city. Obviously, they buy a new PlayStation for every hotel they go to, and they leave the PlayStation at the hotel, like just on purpose every time. Every time they go to a new city, they go out, buy a PlayStation, play it in the hotel room. Then when it's time to leave that city, go back home or go to the next city, leave that PlayStation in the hotel room, go buy another one the next place you go. I mean, so we're talking just like throwing what, $400 in the toilet every couple nights or every week. And again, $400 a week to those guys, again, doesn't bother them, right? But it just kind of speaks to, I guess, kind of like the mentality of some of these players, some of these kids who are making money, these 20-something-year-olds who are going city to city, who are basically rock star athletes, right? Making millions and millions of dollars, more money than they know what to do with. So it's one of those things. It's one of those things, man. It's kind of reminds me of the Floyd Mayweather days. But let's listen to what Kevin Durant has to say here. This is kind of a little bit unrelated, but let's listen to KD.
Here. What's up with the hair though? Why don't brush your hair?
I don't like for what?
You come up for what?
Why get cuts? Why lotion why lotion?
You don't wear lotion either?
No, I don't lotion my body like that. I might lotion my hands if they a little dry, but I don't.
But I see you sometimes you be having a fresh joint though.
Sometimes when they like, yo,
what,
they got
what make you get like that?
What make me get a cut for reals?
Nah, bro. Hold on, bro. This man KD said, I don't really lotion my body like that. KD is the number one example of like just like a perpetual bachelor. You ever wonder why Kevin Durant and Drake are such good friends? Because they live the same lifestyle, right? I don't know if Drake's not lotioning his body. Honestly, I really don't care, if he shared that information or not. But Kevin Durant has always been known as this guy who doesn't care what you think. You know what I mean? I don't think he's in a relationship. I don't think he's ever been married either. Of course, no kids. He just kind of lives life. All he wants to do is wake up, go play basketball, go home, and I guess chill. But him just all right. Let's keep listening. Let's keep listening.
When I'm in my room playing the game, my homie's like, "Yeah, we got the barber on the way here." I was like, all right, fuck it. If y'all getting a cut, I go get one too. I ain't calling it myself.
You just rolling with the game. You so fucking tall. I be arguing with Jeff about this show all the time because his shit a little missing up there. But y'all be so tall too. Most people not seeing it on a daily basis. Only on TV where it look crazy. But when you sign here, the amount of barbers I had on my DM,
Bro,
on my phone,
realtors and barbers was
yo,
on my
tell
line
KD,
crazy.
if you need a cut, I'm thinking to myself, y'all know this man don't care about no fucking haircut. Look at him.
I'm not about to cut. I really used to care at one point about like, man, I need to get a cut this week. Then after a while, I was like, I'm way more relaxed when I'm just not giving a fuck.
And see, I feel that because honestly, that's kind of how it be sometimes. Like sometimes you don't really feel like, and I'm strictly talking about the haircut things here, by the way. Strictly talking about the haircuts, by the way. Love you, babe. Sometimes the haircuts, it's just like, at one point in my life, I did care about making sure that my hair was cut and done like literally every 2 weeks on the dot, not a day later, right? But then you kind of get a little bit older, and it's like, not even, and it's not even the fact that you're coming out of pocket. We talked about haircuts the other week and how they're going up in price and whatnot, and that one barber was charging $100. It's not even so much the fact that you're paying for it. It's just like, well, it is that, and then also at the same time, it's just, who are you trying to impress? You know what I mean? What do I really need this for? You really start to think about it and break things down. And KD being what, almost 40, you know what I mean, has made hundreds of millions of dollars in his career. Again, doesn't really seem to be too worried about impressing anybody at all. You can tell by the way he, responds to fans on Twitter and things like that. He just doesn't care. He doesn't care, and I feel that part. But then the showers part. And by the way, Taurus, I saw that too. He said your shit's a little missing. Fred VanVleet definitely did fire a shot right there, for sure. Top of the morning to you, Devon. Top of the morning to you, Brandon. Appreciate y'all for coming through. I saw Ashley in here as well. Make sure y'all like the video, guys. Like the video, subscribe. Again, if you're new, appreciate that. Let's continue listening to what KD has to say here. Let's see if I turn it down just a little bit too.
Start getting cut, start lotioning. I take showers.
You get too much money, man. You get too much money, man.
That's what I was saying. That
I get. What you mean?
You get too much money, man. You don't care about showering and haircuts.
I shower. But I might go a day without 2 days. I might go 2 days sometimes without. You know what I mean? Hopping in that water. Wait till I get to the gym.
No. Shower pill? Nah, Katie, no.
I'm not saying after I work out. I'm not saying after I work out I take a shower. I'm just saying
2 days without.
If I'm sitting in the house, like
fuck no. Lotion and haircut.
I might just want to go musty for the.
Wash your ass, man. Wash your ass, man. That's what.
You can tell Kevin Durant is the type of guy who really is just a homebody, right? Just wants to sit at home, you know what I'm saying? Not be bothered with, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure like his whole house is like a man cave. To me, like if you walked into Kevin Durant's house, like you just gonna tell like, yeah, a dude lives here. You feel me? Ain't gonna be no, you feel me, pictures on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Well, he might have had like a designer do some stuff like that, but it is definitely not going to be no female touch anywhere. I don't think, at least, unless he had a female designer, told her to do that on purpose. But you guys get my point. Like, this guy lives in his own cave. I don't know exactly where, but like his whole house is probably a man cave. You know what I'm saying? He probably got a PlayStation in his damn kitchen. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those guys. He's a homebody. He's a homebody. He's talking about not showering for 2 days at a time if he's not practicing or not playing. And it's like, all right.
Shit, man.
He got some money.
All right, listen.
I like going.
No, man.
I'm just saying, man.
See,
I just like to feel close to like that the trenches like that. Like I used to say, fuck it, I can't get back to the neighborhood.
You still got a connection to that.
Dirty, grimy. No,
we're not there no more, man.
No moisturizer. Like I'm on that.
Nah,
who said he on that?
I ain't on this pretty boy shit.
He the oldest YN ever. You not
Uncle
YN.
YN.
Not on that no more. All right, you an artist, right? So
He's talking about some, I can't be in the trenches no more, so I might as well feel like I'm in the trenches by being dirty. Katie is such a troll, yo. So, sometimes I can't take anything that Katie says serious because it's just like, you're a troll. Like, again, just look at how he's responded. Look how he interacts with people on the internet. He loves the shit. He loves the shit, man. He does. Let me see what y'all are saying here in the chat. Top of the morning. Welcome in, guys. Tori says, I understand him, though. To a degree, right? Like, I'm sure everybody's gone at least like one day without showering for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to act like everybody here has showered literally every single waking day of their life, right? And never missed a day. That's just not even really realistic. But Katie just openly saying it here is just kind of funny to me again, because like it goes hand in hand with everything we already knew about Kevin Durant. You know, like he's just this homebody dude who doesn't care about nothing but basketball, and that's it. End of list, right? That's it. So, but let me see. All right. So kind of continuing the same theme here, right? Of these foul celebrities, man, these foul athletes. I mean, we got after Nicki Minaj, right? We just jumped on KD. Now we got to get into Gilbert Arenas next. And you already know he's about to say something unhinged. So make sure you strap in. You feel me? Like the video, because this is good. And I guess this is where the mess starts to come in a little bit. A little messy on this one. But Gilbert Arenas is just talking about the NBA player's lifestyle, and he's specifically speaking about escort culture in this next video here on this podcast that he was on. I'll just let him tell you.
Listen, that lifestyle is you go to Miami, pull up the Tootsies, right? $250. Okay, y'all don't know that. $250, just off the boat. Don't speak English that much. $250. Do it.
Wait, so does $250 give you like
$250?
The whole
$250. Right. Do you
in Tootsie, like in a back
you
room?
see how it's hard to compete? $250.
And that's it.
Especially like on a Tuesday, rent due, $250.
$250.
Hey, Gil was eating this shit up too. That is the funny / sad / gross part. When you really think about it, like Gil was all over it. And it's funny because he's gonna try to justify, not paying $250, right? Because that's too cheap. But it's like, bro, you've clearly done it before. You've clearly indulged in it before. So it's just like, I don't know. He's kind of contradicting himself there. But let's continue to listen to what Gil had to say here. Again, he's talking about $250 escorts for NBA players who go to certain cities. In Miami specifically, you can get $250 escorts. The lifestyle of these guys is absolutely sick and disgusting and gross. Let's keep listening.
50. That's a steal.
That's where, like, if you NBA play, that's where you bring your ugly friend. They get all the little Brazilians, little Cubans coming off the boat. They don't speak English, looking bad. $250.
Like, does that feel good after like years of like $250?
He's like, yeah.
No, you know what's so funny?
I mean, like, as a human being, like we, obviously we have sex and we have lust and we have intimacy and we have all these beautiful things. But like, as a human being, after a while, does that feel good?
It don't feel bad. It don't.
Hey, bro. All right, so real quick. Gilbert Arenas, the reason why this is not super shocking to me is because I've heard Gilbert Arenas say things like this before. Maybe not exactly this, but he has said things that, would suggest that, this is the type of lifestyle that he prefers. A big strip club guy, you know what I'm saying? Going city to city. I'm trying to get all the girls, all that. Gilbert Arenas, I also believe, grew up pretty well off in a good neighborhood and stuff like that. And I'm sure once he really got his own money, that NBA money, was traveling city to city and felt like a rock star and really, I guess, felt like he didn't have no worries in life, until he decided to bring a gun to the locker room, the Wizards locker room. This is what he was on. And the girl here, Tori says she's reading, thinking too much into it. But like, you gotta understand, like for her, she's thinking like, okay, do you think that this is humane? Because the way that you're talking about it, you're just talking about like $250. Like it's a sale at the corner store. You know what I mean? Which basically it is. Basically it is. I don't know if these girls get picked up on the corner, whatever, if that's what they were doing, I don't know. If they came straight to the hotel room, I don't know. But like, she's saying like, okay, as a human, does that make you feel good that like you're literally like treating these women like almost like cattle, or again, snacks at the gas station that you can just pick up city to city, and it just happens to be $2.50. You know, I guess like that's where it seems like demeaning, dehumanizing, right? Where you're reducing literally this woman's body to $250, and that's all she's worth. It's a pump and dump. It's nasty. It is. Don't get me wrong. It's nasty. It's gross. And the fact that you're doing this city to city with different women, and he's just saying here like it don't feel bad because in the moment everything's great. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, I'm Gilbert Arenas. I'm in Miami this weekend, right? I make millions of dollars. $250. Hell, if she was charging $2,500, $5,000, still wouldn't be no sweat off my back. This is great. I get to have fun for the night. Pay for play.
Like I'm not gonna. It don't feel bad, but as a man, what ends up happening is $250. You're excited about $250 because it only costs $250, and then you start realizing how many people can afford $250. Right?
That's a little
right. We want to pay, but the price has to make sense. Right? Like if someone like you, I'm worth $1,000. You're like $1,000. Then you start realizing, I mean, okay, so I mean, a lot of people can average 1,000. You know, you might need to bump it up to like 5,000. Then we good, right? There has to be a price range where I know you're at, where I know at least most of the population is out of it, right? So I know you're only fucking with a certain type of group of people. I'm cool with that. Money stay money. You charging $250, looking the way you look, you be like, oh my God, this drug dealers, regular business, man, anybody got it. I'm good. Anybody got this. The price is cheap. You got $250, you know what I mean? $250, shit. You and your boys. Let's go ahead and run through this real quick.
$250. Oh God, $250 is hella cheap.
Put that, I got to see the Instagram about 5,000. Yeah, that's the one I want right now. What's happening, boo? What you doing?
That is
bump it up the price a little bit.
So yeah, he's saying that like I said before, if it's 5,000, that makes more sense because at least I know then not everybody can afford that 5,000. But it's like, Gil, do you think that they started their price at 5,000, or do you think that they gradually worked their way up to that? The jokes write themselves here. The jokes absolutely write themselves here. In the chat, let me see. Torres says, "Is their decision, Sutton? Although they choose that life, Gil is just a customer." That is true. That is true. But I also think it's wrong when, people go and buy from the local drug dealers, right? And are stimulating that economy, knowing that it really does no good for the community. It's the same thing to me. It's the same thing to me. It's the same thing to me. But I get what you're saying, though. Devon Johnson says passport bros was established on this behavior. Pretty much. I think a lot of the passport bros thing is like actually going to different countries to find love, right? Like find actual partners and stuff like that. Which is all stupid. There's what, billions of people. I don't know how many people are in America, but there's a lot of people. If you're telling me that you can't find anybody who like suits your needs, your style, your personality, your love language, whatever, that sounds like more of a you issue and a skill issue than an American issue. Just saying. But yeah, this is very passport bros coded. That's for sure. That is for sure. But man, Gil was wilding though. Gil was wilding on this one. He he's a wild boy, and he unapologetically, talks about living this life. And I think at the very end here, he talks about him being married, which is so funny.
Cut out the field.
So you've enjoyed your life. You've enjoyed your life at Tootsie's 250. You're married now.
Married. We can just live off the, the memories.
Only the memories.
So troll. He's married and he's just living off the memories. You could tell he misses that life. He misses that life, bro. I'm telling you. He misses that. Okay. But that was Gil. That was these celebrities wilding, man. I mean, these athletes, these NBA, it's the NBA players. It's the basketball players specifically. Because they make so much money. They're wildly popular. They don't have to wear helmets during the game. So people see their faces. They have recognizable looks, right, in the streets. These guys just live totally different rock star lives, And I guess when you grow up, I guess you could say kind of spoon fed or just in a favorable environment like a Gilbert Arenas. Hey man, a lot of that like power and money that you feel, I probably go to your head. And Gilbert Arenas was flexing it in every city he was pulling up in. But now he's married and he can only live off the memories. Devon Johnson says the good and bad of podcasts, we know too much. That's a fact. That's a fact. Some of these athletes be getting on here just oversharing. And the fact that they're just so, laissez-faire about it, they just don't even care. Like, it's like, yeah, I live like this. Katie's like, yeah, I mean, I don't take showers every day. Sometimes I want to remind myself that I was from the trenches and I don't take showers for days at a time, or, I don't use lotion. My hands are a little dry, then maybe, right? Gilbert Arenas like, yeah, Miami, escorts 250. Those were the days. Again, it's the NBA players. It's not the NFL players like that. It's the NBA guys. I'm watching y'all. Zion Williamson, you're not off the hook either. Because you're nasty too. And you know why. But we're not here to talk about Zion today. Let me see. Torres says, what's Torres saying here? Sudden, it was a clip on Instagram of Eric Ebron getting asked if NFL players gamble, and he was like, it do be situations he questions, and Puka said refs be gambling on Aiden Ross' stream. Refs gamble on Aiden Ross's stream? That's kind of crazy. I didn't know nothing about that. I did see that Eric Ebron video. As a matter of fact, I should have queued that up for this episode. But I guess I can speak on that really quick. Let me see. Let me actually get this off the screen just real quick before we get into our next topic. I'll switch back over here to touch on this. When it comes to the whole NFL players gambling and stuff like that, I don't like to be the one to say, oh yeah, they're definitely gambling. Like the players are definitely involved with it, because if I truly did believe that in my heart of hearts, I wouldn't bet myself, and I do, on player props. Me and Alex, every week we do our Purple Rain Parlay segment, which, I think we might have hit that. I think we might have hit last week. I think we bet on Derrick Henry's over, Zay Flowers over, and one of the over on the points. Yeah, I think we hit. I'll have to go back and check, and on Friday's episode of the Purple Rain podcast, because we won't be live on Thursday. Thursday is Christmas. Hope you guys enjoy Christmas. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve, guys. Get in the Christmas spirit, please. For me, get in the Christmas spirit. I love to see that. But yeah, on Friday we'll review whether or not we hit our Purple Rain parlay last week. Puka said that on Aiden Ross' stream that refs be gambling. Oh, okay. Yeah. I did see that. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how much NFL referees make. I don't think it's life-changing money. I'm sure they get paid very well, very handsomely, right? But they're part-time employees of the NFL. They're classified as part-time employees. So they could have some incentive if they were approached by somebody to take a deal to, call a game a certain way. And the NFL would really never know, especially with the subjectivity of a lot of the calls. And now we know that, you know, there's the dark shadowy figures in New York who make the final decisions, and we don't even see their faces, right? We don't see those guys. We don't know what's going on in those rooms. At least with the referees, we can see them on the field. We can look at their faces. We look at them, you know, looking at the little Microsoft tablet computer on the sideline, and they're deliberating in real time. Those guys in New York, we don't see them. So we don't know what kind of influence is happening in real time over them. We just don't know. So it's tough. It's tough with trying to deliberate whether or not they are or are not gambling. I would really hope not. You know, signs point towards they probably are. I mean, you already see in the NBA again. These NBA guys, they're wilding. Terry Rozier, wilding. Chauncey Billups, retired NBA guy, wilding. It's the NBA guys. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling y'all right now, man. I'm telling y'all. It's always an NBA guy. Zion Williamson. Tori says, I would have hit my parlay for the first time, but they ruled Henderson out and Lamar out, and I hit everything else, and they sent my money back. Oh, yeah. So they voided it for you. That's good. That's good. Because I think Henderson went out later in the game, and normally they wouldn't void if he went out later in the game. Normally they only do it if it happened like maybe first quarter or something like that, because they want to look out for the people who took the under and all that. But yeah, we didn't bet on Lamar either, I don't think, in this one. I have to go back and check, though. Again, I have to go back and check. I think we hit. Like I said, I think we hit. And Eric Ebron, again, he also said in that video, he said that, like, now since he's betting himself on player props, you know, it kind of makes it the effect even more on him. Like, it confirms his biases even more that these guys might be gambling because my money's on the line and somebody didn't win me my money. And I thought that guy could have did more to do this or that. You know, it is one of those things that only time will tell. Only time will tell whether or not this gambling stuff is going to actually be a real problem in the NFL. That's the only time. But okay. Let's see here. Tori says, you was smart, son. That was me and Alex. Me and Alex came up with that parlay. And I think it hit. We've hit, like, what, 3 of our last 4 Purple Rain parlays. We're at that point in the season now where we know exactly what this Ravens team is going to do on a week in, week out basis, for the most part, at least. For the most part. Season's pretty much over, but, you know, you still make some money off these guys. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into our next video here. So this one is about some controversy that was stirred up online by one 21 Savage rapper, who basically said F the streets, right? Like F gang culture, F the streets. And he was talking directly to Young Thug and Gunna, 2 rappers who were beefing with each other for a long time over some street stuff, you know, but they used to be really good friends. And he's basically telling them, like, hey, y'all need to squash it, become good friends again, forget the streets. The streets don't love you. Streets don't love us. It's never gotten us no, all that sort of stuff, which has sparked the debate around the Twitter streets on whether or not, like, 21 Savage saying something like F the streets is valid, you know. And in this video that I have here, it's actually on a podcast. I want to say it's the No Jumper podcast. It's got Adam 22 in it. He doesn't really talk in this, but it's between Whack 100 and this other guy who's not from the streets. Whack 100 is from the streets. This other guy is not. But listen to what they have to say here. They're having a very spirited debate, because one guy is saying, like, yeah, we need to get rid of the streets. The other guy is saying, like, hey, you can't say F the streets. So let's take a listen.
Niggas, I'm telling you, leave the streets alone, because I'm going to get at you. On Paul Root.
He does have a point, though. Why does it have to be this huge dichotomy?
Because, nigga, you ain't got the right rank of respect to have this conversation. Go find a circle,
Whack,
square
you
niggas.
yourself say that we have to let this stuff go.
But what you're not going to do, what you're not going to do,
where does it start?
Is shit on a lot of these niggas that died.
I'm not shitting
and
on
talk
anybody.
crazy because a nigga will slap the shit out of you
How
and take your manhood and one of them institutions by you hollering the streets.
But Whack,
you can't handle it.
But why shitting on somebody? Who am I disrespecting?
You talking about niggas' brains and all this shit.
What you mean?
And brain power and niggas. Fuck all that.
Bro, because it's a pretty
niggas got the power to get rid of your brains.
But why wouldn't you say? That's fine, but
real quick, Real quick, the funny thing about this video already is that there's a bunch of people in this room who literally have no dog in the fight at all. Like, and they're just like all sitting there, just like spectating this. That's it's kind of funny to me. But let's keep going though.
Right, but
Kill that shit,
plenty
bro.
of black people have died for the progress of
Fuck
black
all
people.
that. Blacks, Mexicans, Asians, everybody in the streets. It ain't just one race.
Okay, so what are you saying?
What I'm saying is this.
Help me understand what you're
What
trying
I'm
to tell me.
saying is you're not going to sit here and just shit on the streets.
I'm not shitting on the streets.
Right? In front of a street. I'm a street nigga.
I'm not shitting on the streets.
That's where I come from.
I haven't said anything bad
Right?
about
You're
the
not going to do that and not get smashed.
Bro, you
will get smashed.
Bro, you're trying
There's
to
some
make
street
it seem
niggas
like
out
I'm
there.
disrespecting everybody when you have
You're
the
not
same
going to
message as
disrespect.
me.
No, I say the kids. But when you get to talking about
But aren't
these
the
niggas
kids
in the
living
streets
in the
ain't
hood,
got
though?
no brains,
I
and
didn't
these
say
niggas
that.
in the,
I
I
didn't
know
say
some
that.
niggas in the streets that'll do some other shit with you.
It's a lot.
Okay. So Wack keeps going towards this this homoerotic stuff, right? Like there's some dudes in the streets that'll violate you, take your manhood. It's like, okay, all right. I get what you're driving at here. Wack, I do. And I saw Taurus in the chat say it's selective politics. That's totally true. The one guy, the dark-skinned guy on the right hand side of the screen, he is basically making the argument that, you know, all that street shit is dumb. Like, F that shit. Like, leave that shit in the past. Like, let's move on from that and let's totally like just get rid of that. You know what I'm saying? Just denouncing it pretty much. And this guy Whack 100, who I assume grew up in the streets in and around that environment, is basically telling him like, hey, no, you can't talk about basically like my childhood like that. You can't talk about the way that I came up like that. Like it's nothing. Like it's just all just toxic. And we can't even help ourselves. Like you can't. It would be like this. Let me put it like this. Like a lot of us watching here are Baltimore Ravens fans. It would be like if somebody, an outsider, a non-Ravens fan, wanted to talk shit about how bad the Ravens are this season. You would still use everything in your body, right? Everything in your mind that you know context-wise about the team to kind of rebuttal against their argument. Even though you know the Ravens suck. Whack 100, he knows the hood sucks. But it's like you're not about to talk about something that you don't understand the full context of because you're an outsider. And that's why Whack 100 is getting so kind of riled up right here. That's basically what it's like here. And that's where I agree with Whack 100, but not only because of that reason. Let's keep listening because I agree with Whack 100 and not only for that reason. Let's keep listening.
People that are smart in the streets and understand this message and understand that we got to move past this.
We know that.
How much
But
are we going to start?
What you're gonna
how long
do?
are we gonna keep
What you're gonna do is
self-inflicting-
refrain from the fuck the streets. Do we need to improve? Yeah. Fuck the streets.
To be fair, Ricky didn't start
If
the
you
fuck the
say,
streets
if you
movement.
say, do you
We're
say the
not-
streets are dead? Do you say the streets are dead?
From where I come from and what they are today, absolutely.
So if you're saying,
But you don't
that,
know what I
is
mean,
the
though.
difference? No,
But
no.
what do I mean
Okay,
by
then,
that?
Then explain it to me. Explain it.
You
to
don't
me
know
in
what
your
I
words.
mean by
No,
that.
Explain it to me in your words.
Because you
so I can
wasn't
understand
around
what the
to
dialogue.
know once upon a time a nigga could walk in the projects and in 3 hours move 5,000-10,000 dub for dub. You can go over here, do this. Everything was going on. It was real money flowing through there. You couldn't drive down a lot of these streets, these known streets, Rosecrans, Slauson, Crenshaw, these known streets, you couldn't drive down them if you wasn't from over there. You get your ass blocked in, snatched out, and won't make it out of there.
Can I ask
so
you something
when
though,
you
right?
can drive everywhere, stop light for light, ain't no money flowing through what it is. You got a lot of niggas that's dope fiends, a lot of niggas moving out. Yeah, the streets from what they were to what it was today is definitely dead. The streets wasn't meant to be a church. Nigga, it was a place of survival.
Okay, so when people are saying that, when people are saying, quote unquote, fuck the streets, this is the moment, right? And we already have said
These are not people.
Listen, we've already
These is
said
niggas
the
that got
streets are
caught
dead.
telling.
We've already said the streets are dead. So if you know a company is failing, why are you going to keep investing money in it on an annual basis, on a monthly basis, if you know that company is not profitable anymore?
Are you calling the streets a company?
Yes, I'm calling it a company.
Okay. I think that where the argument is kind of going off the rails here for the other guy, I think his name is Ricky, is that he's saying that, like, why continue to invest in a dying product? Why continue to invest in something that is not fruitful for the community as a whole? I think that the answer to that question is very, very layered and nuanced and rooted in history, to be honest with you. Because if you have to kind of zoom out a little bit and think about, okay, where did the streets come from, right? Where did the concept of the streets come from? It came from ghettos. It came from hoods. And where did those come from? Those came from strategic placements of black neighborhoods in certain cities through certain tactics like redlining and other racist tactics, grouping a bunch of people together and stripping them of their resources, taking businesses out of the town, right? Basically forcing people on poverty, keeping them away from other parts of society, dropping off drugs, dropping off guns in these neighborhoods, making people desperate. A lot of this is a lot deeper than what they're giving it credit for here. It's a lot deeper. And I think that's what this Ricky guy is kind of like not really listening to. On top of the fact, again, like, you didn't grow up in that environment. You're not from that environment. So you don't really have the liberty to speak on it and really say like, no, fuck that shit. Like, it's because you're not even putting, because it sounds like you're putting the onus on the streets itself and the people who are just, you know, products of that environment, right? You're putting the onus on them instead of actually zooming out and, again, looking at the situation in its totality. How did these streets even get here in the first place? They boxed a lot of these people in these neighborhoods. And yeah, I mean, Whack 100 is also right. Like, nowadays, and he was also saying, Whack 100 was saying that, you know, the streets used to be somewhere where there was big money flowing through, and, you know, you can go flip $5,000-$10,000 in 15 minutes over here, and then you can move over there with it and do this and go holler at this person. Now, do I think that, you know, that stuff is good for the community? No, but like he said, it was a survival ground. It's a survival ground. They don't have the same opportunities that somebody else who lives somewhere else in maybe a suburb or a different town somewhere else where there's actually industry booming. They don't have that. A lot of these places were food deserts. So a lot of these people were malnourished. Like, it's a lot deeper. It is a lot deeper than what we're giving it credit for. Miss Fancy Pants, good morning, says, what's going on in here at the crack of dawn? This is Sutton Reactions. I don't know if you've come through to this episode of the to this show on the YouTube channel. Again, this is my show where I react to pretty much any and everything at the forefront of my attention, and also what you guys send to me topics wise. You see Nicki MAGA Minaj as a topic. Yeah, we covered that. We covered that in the beginning of the show. But yeah, I think you guys understand what I'm saying. Am I wrong in saying that though? Am I wrong when I say Devon Johnson says these topics frustrate me constantly because we tear down our own communities, and that's the issue here. Is like, you're tearing it down. Like, you can say, like, and Whack 100, he even admitted, like, yeah, the streets, they need help, but you're not just about to go and shit on the streets. Like, everything that's going on is because of us. Now, do the people who are products of that environment, do they tend to perpetuate, you know, those same sort of like behaviors and pass them down, things like that? Yes, they do. But again, you have to go back to the root to get your answer on why things are the way that they are. But let's continue listening to what they got to say here, because it's still a very spirited debate here.
Because you were talking about money. You can move 20, 50,000 through the projects and everything was cool. So let's talk about the money sense.
So here goes the thing.
So the streets, people aren't
First
getting
of
out
all,
the streets the way
none
they
of these
used to, right?
niggas, all these niggas is just rappers.
Let me get a poll in the chat. Ricky or Whack in this conversation.
All these niggas is just rappers, for one.
But
And these are rappers that prostituted the streets to become who they are today with their fan base. So now you violated and got caught, and people holding it against you, and now it's fuck the streets. When Thug got out, he was pushing the streets until that recording came out, and it fucked him up. Now it's fuck the streets.
Well, that was the biggest issue with Thug, though.
Is the fact more because he caught a Rico, right?
Can we stay with the example that I gave, though? Why?
When he caught the Rico, he wasn't saying fuck the streets.
again, like I said before, these other three guys in the room. So Adam 22 is on the left with the Caitlin Clark jersey on, and then those two guys who are in the middle of the shot here. They literally have nothing to add to this conversation. Nothing to add to the conversation. And then Adam 22 just chimes in like just casually. Oh, he got a RICO charge, right? Like he's just like, like even just having these types of conversations in the presence of guys like that is just kind of whack to me. Just not even gonna lie. But all right, let's keep going.
Why should people still be putting stock in the streets, glorifying the streets, and not disparaging the streets if it's not something that is returning what it once used to?
Let me tell you why we should glorify the streets.
Suffering for our people.
Let me tell you why we should glorify the streets.
Why we should glorify the streets.
Nigga. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
little
curious.
broke nigga.
I'm curious.
Square broke ass nigga.
I'm okay with that.
Nigga, glorified nigga that come from the street, right? Who's doing what I'm doing. So Wack, you come from the streets, and what are you doing? This dude come from the streets, he got a whole merch company. This dude got a streaming company. Everything coming out the streets
You're talking
ain't
about
bad.
Evolution. You're talking about evolution.
Well, motherfucker, are you just, do you want me to erase it and act like I didn't come from that and say, just see me from this point on?
Let me get back to my
no,
original
nigga.
point. I was saying this. Everybody struggles with this. You even see it with athletes the most. When you have to transition out of being what you've been for years. I've been an athlete since I was 12 years old. I went to the league. I won a Super Bowl, and now I can't do it anymore. I've aged out. People go through depression. It fucks them up. They can't handle it.
They got CTE.
It's the same shit with people in the streets. It's like motherfuckers.
Them
know,
niggas ain't in the streets.
I'm proud that I took my life all the way to these heights.
Them niggas ain't in the streets.
I'm talking about people that are in the streets.
Did you hear what 21 said? I think you should use him some more. Keep him with you and use him. Yeah, we knew he wasn't street when he told, and we swept it under the rug.
If I land my point, it's gonna make too much.
You don't have a point in the streets.
I do have a point.
In your world, you're Ricky. In the streets, you a fuck nigga.
Bro, okay, that's like saying just because I'm a square,
real.
FBI agents who are major squares, they have a play in the streets.
And in the streets, they the police.
They're arresting people.
So what respect they get in the streets?
They're picking how many years they're gonna serve.
Do you think they respect the FBI agent in the streets?
No, but they're part of the streets.
Okay, then no, they're not. Stupid.
So is the grandma living in the hood right now? Is the grandma living in the hood right now? Who pays property taxes? Whose house is getting shot up? There's drive-bys happening in her neighborhood. Is she not a part of the streets? Is she not a part?
She's a part of that community.
Okay, bro, but that's the thing. Is the streets?
You just said the FBI is part of the streets.
Communities, bro. We live in communities. The streets is this facade that was built up so one guy could make all this money.
You sure it's a facade?
It's a concept.
I can bring niggas.
Now, that part I do kind of agree with. I do kind of agree with it being kind of like the streets kind of like a pyramid scheme almost. Like there's typically somebody at the top of the food chain, right? And everybody else kind of gets fed through that system, right? So in that sense, like it just doesn't really seem like it's benefiting the community at the end of the day. And I know that doesn't go for everybody who's in that lifestyle. Some of them do give back and whatnot, but from that angle, I do see what Ricky is saying. It's like it's all a scam. It really does seem like a scam. Wack is saying it's survival. It's not a facade. It's literally what we had to do to survive growing up in these communities, which I get that too. But the overall point at the end of the day is that you got to leave this shit behind. You got to leave this shit behind. We're not saying F you guys, everybody who's in the street, the whole Dr. Umar saying some of these dudes have to go for good. I'm not even saying that. But how can we help should be the questions that a guy like Ricky should be asking a guy like Wack here. How can we help the streets get better? I don't want to say F the streets. I want to help the streets. What can we do? How can we be more hands-on? Is it tutoring for our boys? Is it mentorship for our boys? Is it more activities for the girls? Is it more, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? What needs to happen? I think the kids need to be targeted for sure, but that's what it is to me. We got Tila M, and the M stands for mod. So make sure you're on your best behavior. Appreciate you for coming through. Tila says, "What's up, Sutton? I hope you had a wonderful birthday." I did. I appreciate that too. Ravens let me down on Sunday, but Saturday was my birthday. It was a good day. Saturday was a good day. Miss Fancy Pants says, yep, I had my birthday on Saturday. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me see. See what y'all are saying here. Devon says, agreed. However, the celebrities idolized for being street are no longer there, and some never were. LOL. It's perfectly okay to want better for yourself, and you should feel bad for that. Yes, I agree. I agree. But I guess again, and I'm not from the street, but like somebody who grew up in that environment, you know, is just hard to kind of tell them like, hey, forget, like, F everything you know. Like, that's got, like, existentially, that's got to probably bother you just a little bit. Like, everything from where you're from is bad and wrong. And for that, you know, for that reason, I'm looking at you as somebody who's bad and wrong. That type of judgment shouldn't be passed, right? For people who are just quite simply products of an environment. Instead, the question should be, how do we help? How can we help? That's what I think. Devon says, I work this demographic and it's challenging because whack are their parents most of the time. Now that's one thing. Like you got to have more mature adults in these situations. That's for sure. And that's where I hope that whack kind of grows out of the mindset that, like, because he went on to say we need to glorify the streets. That I disagree with. That type of culture, I totally wholeheartedly disagree with that. I don't think we need to glorify the streets, but I also don't think we need to say, you know, F the streets and everybody from there. You know, there's just a way to kind of, I guess you could say, start the healing process. It's going to take a while, a long time. And it looks like a lot of different things happening in order for, you know, that to kind of really be left in the past. But you're right, Devon, there were artists who benefited greatly off of street culture. Hell, I mean, major record labels. You know what I mean? Like, you think that these guys who run these major record labels who put these artists on, do you think that they really like a lot of like the drill and the murder music and the street music that's like coming up through their offices and hitting their desk? No, they don't. But they know it makes money, so they'll push it and disseminate that message that, you know, to everybody in the world, kids, teenagers, and young adults alike, and influence them. I mean, and that's the sad part to me. It's really a systemic thing, and it's so deep. It goes so deep, right? Which is why, again, you know, if you want to point the finger at somebody, pointing the finger directly at the streets is not, I don't think it's the way to go. Got to point some love, compassion that way. Got to point some direction, right? Some aid. Tori says, I don't like the fake rappers giving that message like they're thorough. Yeah, I mean, again, that's because that's what was making money. That's what was making money. So had to go that route. A lot of them did. Yeah. Did we finish the video? I think we got through most of it. Yeah.
And they've been shot 10, 12. There's no facade.
Real quick,
and that's another thing. One more thing. There's a lot of pain and suffering that people who, you know, come from these or grew up in these communities go through. Lots of pain. Lots of death, either to, you know, violence, either to drugs, either to just, I mean, even down to lack of nourishment. You know what I mean? There's a lot of pain and suffering that goes on in coming up in an environment like that. And you just have to be careful. You have to be careful with how you talk to people, because you can wake up certain triggers and traumas in people, and it can bring them right back to, you know, those moments, right? So you just got to be considerate. Just got to be considerate. And again, if you want to say something, ask the question, hey, like, how can we help? What do you think the best course of action would be to, you know, get the guys off the corner slinging dope? You know, to get the little boys back into schools and actually liking school, actually wanting to go out and pursue careers and not just want to grow up and be rappers and ball players like that's all they see on TV. It's a systemic thing, and it takes a lot of different answers. A lot of different answers. Avengers Doomsday first teaser is out. That's crazy. Hold on now. I don't think I can play it on here though, guys. I don't think I can play it on here because it's gonna copyright us. It's gonna copyright us. Let me see if it's actually true though. My guy Adit Mahmood put it in the chat. I believe Adit. Adit be coming with the facts. Let me see, because I definitely wanted to see that. Avengers Doomsday. Is this real, chat? And I guess while I'm looking for that, grew up in Eli says, I grew up in the hood. I have no desire to go back. People just don't want to change. Yeah. I mean, I think that when that's all you know, it's tough, man. It's tough. Like, I spent the first 10 years of my life growing up in an area like that, very rough area. And, you know, my parents moved us out to a nicer area where there wasn't as much crime and violence and people getting mugged and stabbed and shot. You know what I mean? And I think that, I mean, that definitely does something into a child. You know, what environment you raise them in, it definitely does something to them, for sure. But you know, when you grow up and you kind of have that responsibility to grow up and be mature on your own and like really be able to compartmentalize certain things and not, you know, lose your cool in situations, or just know how to navigate life, because the world is not the streets. And some people don't understand that, but when you have the mindset to be able to like recognize that and move away from it, that's, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And then to be, I mean, because then you have the best of both worlds. You've experienced it growing up. You left it, you know, you left that kind of like that culture behind you, and you can still reach back and relate to people who are in that situation right now and help them. Like, that's what needs to be happening here. Oh, yep. They dropped it. They dropped it. It's a minute and a half long, guys. I want to play it so bad on stream. I think we should be okay. If I don't full screen it. We should be okay. Let's try it. F it. Tila says, well, first of all, they need to stop having King Von themed birthday parties. You see what I'm saying? And there was a major label ran by some guys who hate that type of music, who push that music all over the world. Just saying. Barty and Stefan running around the city like they won the Super Bowl. I can't stand Stefan Diggs. He don't do nothing all season long, for real. And then he want to come to Baltimore and put up 139 yards or something. Fuck out of here. All right. Let's get a little screen share going. Avengers. There we go. Here we go. Avengers Doomsday. So I'm not going to full screen it, and it's just going to screen share. So what up, Coach? I see you in the chat. Top of the morning to you. My man, Coach, was looking sharp at that wedding yesterday. I don't know if y'all saw the pics. I don't know if y'all saw the flicks from my guy, Coach. My man had on the green suit. My man was dressed to the nines. And I mean that. I'm going to let him know about it later on Ravens Roundup, too. We cannot let that go unnoticed. My man was looking clean. Roger's got a baby. Oh, crap. Is that what we're doing here? All right, let's listen. Let's listen to this. Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday. You know what this tells me? And I guess I can full screen just this still right here. But you know what this tells me? This tells me that they're going to release a series of trailers, each one being about a specific character. So they did this one with Steve Rogers, Captain America first. You know, they'll probably do maybe what, Spider-Man, or they might bring back Hulk. I don't know, or Thor, right? I think that they'll all have their own separate teaser. And then at the very end, the last one will be the one with Robert Downey Jr. playing the villain role in this one as Doomsday. That's what they're going to do. Then they're going to probably release a full trailer. You know, these trailers, I assume, will probably be a little bit more intimate, a little bit more just like, you know, just kind of showing you that, hey, look, Steve Rogers is back. You know, we're not going to show him kicking butt or anything like that. We don't need to. All you need to know is Steve Rogers is back. Captain America is back. That's all you need to know. They'll do the same thing again with Thor. I don't know if Spider-Man, Hulk. They'll do the same thing with those guys, and then at the end they'll do it for Robert Downey Jr. for Doomsday. Or Doctor Doom. Yeah. That's going to be man, box office. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, man? Like the magic of the Avengers and the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be back in an instant when this movie drops. In an instant. And like, I'm a Marvel guy. I'm not like a Marvel like fanatic, like a, you know, a junkie. I'm not super. I don't watch every single movie. Hell, I still haven't even seen Fantastic Four from earlier this year. But I've been meaning to check that out though. Is it good? Somebody let me know in the chat if Fantastic Four was good, and should I watch that? But this is going to feel like, again, a very magical moment. Getting all of these characters back, you're gonna have the nostalgia of the recent Avengers movies, like, you know, the Endgame, and just kind of getting that story back and introducing those characters back, because it didn't feel the same. They fell off. Let's be real. Marvel fell way off after Endgame. They just couldn't top that. They just couldn't top it, and that's why they had to bring back. They didn't want to bring back Robert Downey Jr. At least I don't think so. I don't think that was in the cards when they were making Endgame. I think that they were thinking like, okay, this is going to be the end of Robert Downey Jr. with this is going to be the end with Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. We're going to move on from that. We know he was the star of this series, but we got some other ideas. I remember they had a whole vision board of just movies on movies on movies that they were coming out. And it seemed like they were going in a totally different direction, you know, but a couple of flops here and there, a couple of scandals by some big name actors. And here we are. It's like, okay, we gotta run it back with the Avengers again. We got to run it right back with the Avengers again, because that is the only thing that worked. We got to go back to our fastball here. Robert Downey Jr., how much do you want? I'm sure they're paying him boatloads of money to come back and play Doctor Doom. Boatloads of money. Let me see. Devon says, I don't go to the theaters often, but for this, definitely will. Definitely will. Captain America, Thor, Doom, and Loki teasers. Could definitely see Loki as well, for sure. Miss Fancy Pants says they just be killing the folks and bringing them back, because didn't Steve grow old with his biddy and die? He did, didn't he? But you know, this whole multiverse, and they're doing, I think, like time travel themes and stuff like that. They're going to figure out a way. They're going to figure out a way to where it makes sense. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how they're going to sell us on Robert Downey Jr. not being Iron Man. I'm sure there's some twist or loophole in the comics where, you know, I think that actually is the case, where they're going to be able to twist that on us, and they'll try. I'm just going to be there for the characters, the action. I need some iconic lines, some iconic fight scenes, and let me get up out of there. You know what I mean? That's all I want. That's all I'm missing. Which is why, I don't know if you guys have seen this movie, but the movie that came out earlier this year, the Incredible Hulk movie or no. It was the Captain America: Brave New World with the Red Hulk in it, played by Harrison Ford. That was a damn good movie. I don't care what anybody says. That was the best Marvel movie I've seen in a while, right? And the action in that movie was great. I felt like the storyline was great. So I feel like if they're going from something like that, again, I haven't seen Fantastic Four. I got to check it out. And then they're going to drop Avengers on us next year. They could be back. They could be back. Just saying. Just saying. Zeke says, nah, that shit was dirt. You ain't missing nothing. Okay. Tila says they did fall off in these little series, ain't it? Yeah, man. They just went full quantity over quality. Full quantity over quality. But yeah, can't wait to see that movie. Cannot wait to see that movie. Zeke says he heard the other one, the Captain America: Brave New World was bad. No, man. No. The thing that was refreshing about that movie is that you got to see Hulk be Hulk, right? It's not like he was throughout the entire movie, but like when it happened, right? And for the last couple of years, Hulk's really been the most boring character in the MCU. Once he went all docile after he got beat up by Thanos and what was it? I think that might have been an Infinity War, I want to say. After he got beat up by Thanos, he was just never the same. So seeing him actually in his actual Hulk form, albeit he was red, not green, that was cool to see. And I thought Anthony Mackie played a good new Captain America in that one too. Let me see. What else do we have here? Didn't have any more videos to react to. We got through pretty much everything there, as we're about an hour 17 into the show. Thank y'all so much for rocking out on this episode of Sutton Reactions. Again, this is episode 8. Make sure y'all leave a like on this video. Please leave a like on the video. It helps us out a ton. And if you're new, be sure to subscribe, and also subscribe to the actual Sutton Reactions YouTube channel. If you do like these videos, if you like this show, it will exclusively be on the Sutton Reactions channel pretty soon. I'm thinking the top of 2026. So if you want to continue to watch these videos and you're watching on the Purple Rain podcast right now, make sure you type in Sutton Reactions on the YouTube search. Look me up there and go ahead and hit subscribe if you want to keep watching these. But okay. I saw somebody else in the chat put something. Let me see. Something about the Pro Bowl. Don puts in the chat here, says Zay Flowers and Roquan Smith made the Pro Bowl. That is interesting. Right? That's interesting. I mean, Roquan Smith, it's really just a name. The Pro Bowl, it means nothing nowadays, bro. It's just, honestly, I don't even remember the games being played. It really just feels like, oh, you got selected to the Pro Bowl? Great. We don't need to see you play in the game. As long as you got selected, cool. And it's just a name brand thing. Like, everybody knows Roquan Smith. Roquan Smith hasn't been the impactful linebacker that you would want him to be, especially for his contract size. He hasn't really been playing like an all-star perennial Pro Bowl, player. He just hasn't. The impact hasn't been there. Zay Flowers, 1,000-yard season, cool. Right? And I got Zay Flowers behind me right here, so I don't want to say anything too bad. You know what I mean? But, like, the guy still has not proven to us or anybody, really, that he has that wide receiver one potential or, to be making a Pro Bowl at that. I don't really agree with it. But that's what the Pro Bowl is nowadays. Travis Kelce also got nominated for the Pro Bowl as well. He had a decent year in the middle of the season, but the end of it and the beginning of it were really bad for him. Just feels like there had to have been a better option. You know what I'm saying? It's a popularity contest, guys. It's a popularity contest. So it doesn't even surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me at all that this is what we're getting here. Okay. Let's see. The Punk Bowl is more like it. Was waiting on this part. Yeah, man. Nah. I'm not. Again, I really don't want to keep shitting on Zay Flowers because, in recent weeks, he showed me, he has showed all of us that, He's capable of making big plays. He's capable of scoring touchdowns, right? We just need to see it more, and we need the fumbling to stop. We need the fumbling to come to a screeching halt, right? That's where, again, he kind of stays neutral with me right now. He's just neutral with me. I don't think he's a 1 still. I don't think I'll ever come off of that point just because of the size of Zay Flowers. He doesn't really fit what a wide receiver 1 looks like to me. You know, so, but again, he's been playing a little bit better recently. Again, I think he had like 8 catches for 84 yards. I think Alex was telling me yesterday, 8 catches for 84 yards on Sunday against the Patriots. It was drives where seemingly they couldn't stop him. Christian Gonzalez, didn't matter who they put, couldn't stop him, right? He gets open, he uncovers very well in the middle of the field, catches the ball in the soft spots of that zone, and he can use that yak to get him an extra 5-6 yards on most plays, which is, cool. Still want to see him, take the top off of the defense more often, like we saw against Cincinnati in that deep ball. But of course, Tyler Huntley coming in the game, that kind of derailed things a little bit. You wanted Zay Flowers to stay in. It looked like we were headed towards a generational Lamar Jackson to Zay Flowers day, because what Zay Flowers had, like, maybe 4 catches before Lamar went down, if I'm not mistaken. So he's trying, man. He's trying, man. He made the big mistake at the end where he fumbled. But again, Dom, like, you got to take the good with the bad when it comes to Zay. You just have to take the good with the bad with him. That's what we got right there. That's our wide receiver 1. I don't foresee it getting any better. I don't. More on that later, though. More on that later. Chill on low, rumble, fumble. Henry fumbled, likely fumbled, Lamar fumbled, we all fumbled. That's true. That's true. But the thing is, though, it's the way that Zay Flowers fumbles is what's so frustrating. Right? Because like it just quite simply wouldn't happen as much if he didn't always try to do too much. It don't even take much for defenders to punch the ball out from Zay Flowers. Again, it's a size thing. He's smaller. So all this like jump cutting backwards and east and west and whatnot, what do I always say? All that does is create angles for these professional defenders to get up on you and punch that ball out. That's all it is. The name of the game is just get upfield. I mean, at least when Derrick Henry fumbles, he's, and they're few and far between for Derrick Henry, by the way, too. But like Henry's already like 6 yards, he's trugging down the field, and somebody, comes up and punches it out, or it's like a team effort to get the ball out, and it just doesn't happen all that often. Henry hadn't fumbled before the other night. He hadn't fumbled since what, week 3, week 4, something like that. He cleaned up his fumbling issue. Isaiah Likely, the fumbling thing was kind of rare. He went on like a rare couple game stretch where it was just a thing. But with Zay Flowers, I mean, we've been seeing this since 2023, AFC Championship game. It's been a common theme for Zay. So, but that's our 1. That's our wide receiver 1. I do think that, he can still be productive in this offense if the quarterback is available, of course, even though I thought Tyler Huntley played pretty well. And if also the blocking is good enough too. So. But again, more on that in a while, in a little bit later. But yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Quiet Storm. Not Quiet Storm. God, I don't even remember what shows I'm on nowadays, guys. I'm just live streaming like every day, like all day, every day. That's what it feels like. But Sutton Reactions, thank you guys for coming through to another episode of Sutton Reactions. Again, if you want me to cover topics tomorrow morning, from what you find interesting, make sure you DM it to me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. You can DM me a post, DM me a link, a video, a picture, whatever it is. I will react to it on stream tomorrow morning. Again, appreciate all of you guys for coming through. We will see you guys later on today on the Ravens Roundup YouTube channel, also on Quiet Storm Sports as well. Got some stuff to talk about with these Ravens as some more news continues to come out, I'm sure, throughout the day. But until next time, y'all, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.